I am a massive Superman fan. That he, for me, has always been one of those heroes nearest and dearest to my hearts, right alongside Batman and Spider-Man. I've never understood the critique that Superman's unrelatable. I think that comes from people who genuinely don't know the comic books, don't know the stories, because I find Superman to be really relatable and an inspiring figure. And so I was very much looking forward to James Gunn's Superman, especially because I had never really loved the DCEU. I was a big fan of Man of Steel. Actually, I thought that movie was quite good. It has flaws, but overall, really enjoyed it. And that was about it for the DCEU that I enjoyed. The Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Cut was good, but the actual movie that released was not good. Wonder Woman was good, but 1984 was horrible. Suicide Squad was never good, although James Gunn's Suicide Squad was quite good. But I just could never get into it. And man, did that thing ever go out on a whimper. From Wonder Woman 1984 to The Flash to Aquaman 2. I was really ready for them to take another swing at a cinematic universe because I believe that DC has far more interesting superheroes than Marvel does. I believe that DC has far better stories than Marvel does. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Marvel as well, but I've always found the DC characters and stories to just be typically at a higher bar than Marvel's often is and wasn't. So I was very, very excited, needless to say, to go into this film, to go into the new Superman. I'm actually a big fan of James Gunn. I was a big fan of all the trailers. Everything was looking great. And I watched it, and I don't understand the hype behind this thing. I did not love it at all, to be honest. I would give it a solid pass, but there are tons of things I have issues with. And I'm reading all the comment sections. I'm looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score, and it's verified, which means it's real people who watched the movie. I'm talking to even friends that I know, and everybody's loving this thing. And I genuinely am confused as to why. That a lot of the issues I have with current Marvel movies are in this film. And so I just wanted to share some of my thoughts as to why I think Superman is overhyped from a big fan of this character, someone who really wanted to love this movie, someone who wanted to love it. I think this movie is very overhyped. And to be honest, I do not think people's feelings on this movie are going to age well. That I think in time, it will be like The Last Jedi, where there was a few people who were like, hey, this isn't actually that good. But there was a lot of hype because it was just another Star Wars movie that people were really pumped about. And as time went on, more and more people went, yeah, actually, it's not that good of a movie. I think Superman is going to have that same kind of a vibe. Not to the extreme, but it'll have the same kind of vibe. So let's dive into some of my reasons as to why I didn't really love this film. First off, they ruined both of Superman's origin stories, both of the pivotal things, both his human and his alien motivations for doing what he does. I really have a huge problem with what they did with Jor-el. It really bothers me pretty deeply. I feel like people who aren't that bothered by it are people who aren't that big of fans of the comic book. It's not great. And to be honest, even when watching it, I didn't believe it because it seemed so silly. Like somehow they were able to hack into the Fortress of Solitude and somehow fix the clip, and none of the actual technology that's Kryptonian could fix the clip, but Lex Luthor could. And I thought for sure it was AI or it was fake or something. Nope, it's real as far as we know. Like the movie never corrects it. So turns out Jor-el sent Superman to essentially be a Viltrumite from the Invincible comic book and TV show, where he was supposed to go to Earth and essentially conquer it and have 1,000 wives and repopulate the Kryptonian race on Earth. I hate that. I hate that they made Jor-el want Superman to be Omni-Man. I hate everything about that. It feels... I also hate that it's something that's not even like a fresh idea, because again, we've seen this in Invincible, that this is taken essentially right out of Invincible to some degree, and it doesn't work for me. It really bothers me. Another part that bothers me about that's a logical loophole, is Supergirl was supposed to be like a teenager when she was on Krypton and was sent back. And she knows all about Krypton, knows about their culture. She obviously knew Clark's parents and has decided to never let him know that, hey, actually, our race was essentially Voltrumites, and your parents only sent you here so that you could repopulate the Earth. Like, that does not make me like her as a character. There's just a logical loophole of, I don't even think they'll really address it, which is weird. And even if they do address it, it's weird that that's something that she would have never told Clark. Feels like a pretty important piece of information, actually, and it's pretty weird to keep that from him. So that was strange. Also, don't really love what they're doing to Supergirl. I like the comic book that everybody refers to and is like, oh, you don't understand, it's in the comics. No, I get it. I don't like the portrayal of how they portrayed her. She essentially was acting like Wedding Crashers is what she was acting like. It wasn't someone who's depressed, who's sorrowful, who is, it was like a frat girl. And I didn't love that. I really didn't love that. It was very cringy. It wasn't good. I don't care what anybody says. It was not good. Doesn't mean the Supergirl movie won't be good. I hope and pray that it is. I just did not like the scene that she was in. And then with Ma and Pa Kent, they ruined that origin as well. That both of his parents are still alive. There was no heart attack. There was no tornado like in Man of Steel. That's a pretty big driver for Superman in the comic books, and it's weird to not have that. And to be fair, I'm logically consistent with this. I have a big problem with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It drives me nuts as a Spider-Man fan. Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he's a great actor. He does great. But what they did in those movies, the Iron Man Jr. stuff, how Uncle Ben almost plays zero role in him, and how Aunt May eventually became Uncle Ben, which I'm kind of confused about because they allude to that Uncle Ben died, and I'm like, so wait, Uncle Ben died and Aunt May died in the same way, and they both said have great power with great responsibility. I don't understand. And that's my issue here, is that you took away not just one, but both of the driving factors for Superman to do what he does. And it's not like this is an origin story. This is year 3 of Superman. I just think it's a weird choice. I think it's a weird choice, and I didn't love it. In addition to that, I thought the movie overall had good dialogue and some good conversations, but it had some really bad ones. Had some weirdly written scenes. Lois Lane driving a aircraft around with everybody from the Daily Planet was a little strange of a choice. Also, Mr. Terrific taking her into this like dimension thing for absolutely no reason, because how is she helping him in there was a strange choice. But when it came to some of the dialogue, things were weird. Things were written weird. Especially again around the ruining one of Superman's origins and making Jor-el essentially Omni-Man. When they show the video clip, I was like, this is clearly fake. And then Mr. Terrific says something, and this is almost exactly the line where it's like, oh, no, these guys would never get this wrong, or something like, oh, no, these guys would never mess around with this. If it's for sure the thing. If these guys are saying it, oh, yeah, it's legit. And I'm like, what? What a weird... What a weird line. You're like, no, these guys could never compromise on their morals because these tech guys take this real serious. Like, it was such a weird line. And there's so many little lines like that, or moments that are very strange. Another one that just kept taking me out of the movie was Lex Luthor's girlfriend was so cringy. Her taking selfies and everything. And I know that it's alluded to that possibly she was actually really intelligent and was getting dirt on Lex, but it also could be taken that she's sending all these selfies not knowing fully that she's getting all of this dirt on Lex. It doesn't really matter, because every time she was taking selfies, it just like took me out of the scene, because I'm like, Lex Luthor, yes, is with the ladies, but he could not handle this level of incompetence that there's no way Lex Luthor would be dating somebody like this. Not to mention him throwing girlfriends that he doesn't like anymore into a pocket dimension to be caged up. That was also weird. And then the tech people in the tech room with Lex Luthor, the calling out the commands, and then how excited his goons got. Like they were told to make a trailer for Nintendo Switch 2 in their reactions and pretend like you're winning Smash Brothers. Like it was weird. It was portrayed really badly, and it again took me out of the fights. Also, the clone thing was super predictable and went absolutely nowhere. It was just such a weird choice. There's so many things in this movie where there's really actually genuinely great things that I did enjoy, but there's enough weird or like, why'd you do that it takes me out of it. And it just bothered me. The thing I've been hearing people saying is like, oh, this is a Silver Age comics movie. This is like the Silver Age of comic books. That's what this thing is. And I go, yeah, you're right. The Silver Age of comic books was genuinely broadly seen by historians as one of the lowest points in comic book history because of the wackiness, and comic books began to start going bankrupt because the stories became so goofy and silly and there was no stakes, that to look at a movie and proudly say this is the Silver Age of comic books is a weird choice as someone who's a fan of comic books, because I'm like, that's not an age that's really looked on fondly. It's looked on kind of cringily, like the Batman and Robin movie. It's not really that great. And then it was people like Frank Miller, and even the Ultimate comic books from Marvel that came around that turned around comic books and made them more serious stories again that could be taken seriously, that were for adults. And I kind of feel like for the Superman movie, yeah, I would agree. It's a Silver Age comic book in all of the ways that I wish it wasn't. And so overall, I still enjoyed the movie, but I didn't love it the way I wanted to. I don't think it's that great of a movie. That if I were to rate it, I would give it a solid 6 out of 10, where it's like, it's not so mid that I'm just like, meh. I'm like, no, I slightly did enjoy it. Like overall, I would give it a thumbs up, but I've got a lot of worries about this universe and where things are heading. I don't love the tone that we have. It's really teetering on Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. That it's right on that line where at any moment it could crash to the Love and Thunder side. And at moments you get glimpses where it feels like, uh-oh, we're heading into the Love and Thunder side, and it manages to bounce back into Ragnarok. I don't know if I love that, to be honest, as a tone for this universe. But again, I want to be optimistic. I really want this universe to do well. I want the Batman movie they're making to be really great. I want them to leave the Batman alone and leave Robert Pattinson's Batman alone, because I love that iteration of Batman, and don't just let him make his movies. You can have your own Batman that's in this weird and wacky universe who could fit in it, because there's no way Robert Pattinson's Batman fits in this universe. I really hope Supergirl surprises me, but if I'm honest, I'm coming out of this thing more hesitant than I was with Man of Steel, and that makes me a little bit anxious. But all that being said, there you go. There are some of my thoughts as to why I think Superman is overhyped, why I don't think it's this masterpiece or this incredible movie. I don't even think it's like a great comic book movie. I don't even think it's a good comic book movie. I think it's an okay comic book movie, where at the end of the day, I would say, yeah, it's worth seeing. But I am very nervous about this universe. I will say that. And this is not one of my top Superman movies, which actually really shocks me, because I thought this was going to be my favorite Superman movie. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm a small channel, so any little bit helps. Every like, every comment, every subscription genuinely means a ton. And so if you're here watching this, you made it to the end, please, it's free to help support me, and it genuinely helps. But head down in the comment section down below. Let's have some dialogue. If you enjoyed it, what did you enjoy about it? Let's talk back and forth, respectfully, of course, because I want to respect your opinion, and I hope you respect mine. If you did enjoy it, let's chat about that as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk, and I will see you guys in the next one.